Everyone, you're here with Goran from Pickdawgz, and you are here for your free picks for the MLS on Saturday, April 27th. Well, guys, as we usually do on Saturday, we have a full slate of the MLS games. 14 this time, and it's gonna be a busy afternoon and a busy evening as well. The first MLS game is at 1:45 p.m. Eastern time, but all the other ones are 7:30 p.m. and later than that. So it's gonna be more of a busy evening than the afternoon. But not to worry because in the afternoon we have all those picks and games in Europe, which you can find in a separate video up on the Pickdawgz YouTube channel. You know the drill, guys. Subscribe, hit that like button, and of course check out my best bets. If you click the link in the description, that will take you up to my page where you can sign up. Again, a daily pass, 3-day pass, 7-day pass, or even a month-long pass if that's something you want to do. I won't take up too much of your time, guys. I will try to fly through these as quickly as possible. The first game of the day, Austin and Galaxy. This was being played in Texas. It's going to be an interesting one because Galaxy is probably the best team in the league right now. They're playing extremely well. They're dangerous. They're effective. They're creating a lot of chances. And I know that Austin has won three of their last four games. However, defensively, they're still very much unstable. They have been conceding a lot of goals, and Galaxy has been scoring a lot of goals. So in this game, I'm taking Galaxy team total over 1.5 goals at minus 115. Columbus is hosting Montreal in the next matchup, and this one is actually clear as day to me, guys. I know that Columbus is still undefeated at home this season. I know that they haven't lost any of their last six games. However, they played in the CONCACAF Champions Cup against Monterrey earlier this week. They won 2-1 at home, and they're playing again next week. I think that they will sacrifice this game against Montreal. They will rest some of the players and they will focus on the on the CONCACAF Champions Cup, and it's the semifinals that they're playing in. So, like I said, this was clear as day to me. I'm taking Montreal on the double chance at plus 150 plus 152. That's an insanely good of a price, and I simply cannot afford to pass this one up. So, I'm taking Montreal on the double chance. DC and Seattle are the next matchup in the MLS, and Seattle is still struggling. They are now without a win in their last two games. They are coming into this one with a few suspended players because of the red cards that they got against Vancouver. But luckily for them, DC United is not scoring a lot of goals this season. They have scored 12 goals in 9 games, which is solid, yes. But Seattle is not scoring or conceding a lot, barely a goal on average. So I think this is going to be a very tight game, a very tight matchup. And with that in mind, I'm taking first half draw at plus 118. Cincinnati is hosting Colorado in the next matchup, and I think this was going to be really fun. Colorado came out of the I don't know, left field or whatever, and they have lost only one of their last six games. They're on a two-game winning streak, and they're scoring a lot of goals. Whether they play at home or on the road, I don't know. Something shifted in this team, and they're finally catching a good form. They're finally becoming more consistent. Let's just hope they can keep it up for pretty much the entire regular season because they will need it if they want to get into playoffs. Cincinnati, on the other side, is a very solid defensive team. They have conceded only 8 goals in 9 games. But with Colorado scoring so much, I think it's going to be hard for them to keep another clean sheet. So, with that in mind, I'm taking both teams to score at minus 133. New England is hosting Inter Miami in the next matchup, and I'm gonna keep this one very simple, guys. I'm taking Inter Miami on the money line. It's plus 122. They have won their last two games in a row, while New England is definitely due for a nice performance, and they might even score a goal here. But they have lost their last three in a row, and they're struggling a lot. Their defense is horrible. And when you play against Messi, Suarez, and Busquets and other Inter Miami players, you need the best defense you can get, and New England simply does not have it right now. So I'm taking Inter Miami on the money line. New York City FC and Charlotte are facing off in the next matchup, and these two teams are fairly similar, fairly even in quality. The form is definitely on New York City's side, but Charlotte is a very solid team as well, and they're coming into this game in a bit of a sloppy form, but they have some nice results over the last few weeks. So I think it's gonna be another tight matchup, another close one. But I see definitely both teams getting on the scoreboard, and that's gonna be my pick for this one. Both teams to score at minus 115. New York Red Bulls are hosting Vancouver Whitecaps, and Vancouver has been one of the most consistent teams in the league. Overall, they are now in third place with 16 points. They're coming off of a win against Seattle 2-0. And yes, their best football is when they're playing at home, but on the road, they're also scoring goals and they're creating chances. New York Red Bulls, on the other side, is very solid defensively when they're playing at home. They haven't conceded a goal in any of their last two home games. But you know what? It's very hard to stop Vancouver right now. And with that in mind, guys, I'm taking both teams to score at minus 115 in this one as well. Orlando is hosting Toronto in the next matchup, and Toronto finally got a win. Actually, they have two in a row now because they were playing in the Canadian Championship, which is a game basically I will not even count. But they have beaten New England last week in the MLS 1-0, and it was a win that actually meant quite a lot to them after that three-game losing streak they were on. Lorenzo Insigne is still listed as injured for this game. Kevin Long, Peruzzo O'Neill, Servania, and Richie Larea are all out as well. But Bernardeschi is there. Prince Owusu is there as well. He's been playing really well. He's scored 4 goals in 9 games so far this season, and he's been carrying this team when it comes to the offensive firepower. Orlando undefeated in their last 4 games, and they are playing their best football at home this season, yes. And it's been a while since we saw both teams scoring in this game. It's been 4 games going back to May of 2022. But I think it's going to happen here. I don't think that Toronto is good enough defensively to keep another clean sheet, but they can score goals because their form is on the rise and they have been doing it quite well. So I'm taking both teams to score at minus 122. Philadelphia and Salt Lake is the next matchup that we have in the MLS, and it's going to be a very interesting one. Both teams are playing really well in a great form. Both teams undefeated in their last 5 games, and Salt Lake hasn't lost any of their last 4 games on the road. Philadelphia hasn't lost any of their last 5 games overall. I think it's going to be another close one. Goals have been a common thing in this matchup, both teams scoring as well. And we could definitely go with goals, but I think it's if it's anything is going to happen, it's going to be in the second half, although it's going to be a very hard matchup, like I said. So in this one, I'm going to take the draw at plus 275. Chicago is hosting Atlanta, and I think that this is going to be the game with not a lot of defense on either side. I think that both teams to score in over 2.5 is likely to hit. But with the current form of both teams, I'm simply going to take the over 2.5 at minus 167. Maybe put it in a double with something else to get into nice plus money value. But yeah, it didn't happen often that these two teams had a low scoring game. It didn't happen often that both teams did not score. And that's going to be my guide for this one. I'm taking over 2.5. Next, we have a Texas Derby once again. We have Dallas playing against Houston, and Dallas is still trying to find themselves. They haven't won any of their last 7 games. They're not scoring a lot of goals. As a matter of fact, they're barely creating any chances, which is quite surprising to me because they have the quality in that attacking front. While Houston on the other side is coming off of a loss against Austin 1-0 at home. But when playing on the road, they're actually quite solid, and they have scored at least a goal in each of their last four, five games on the road in a row. So I think that they might score in this one, but we'll see what Dallas can do. I'm gonna take with the first half draw at minus 102. As you can see, the books are expecting a slow start to the game, and then whatever's gonna happen is gonna be the second half. And I honestly don't mind that. So I'm taking Dallas versus Houston, first half draw at minus 102. Minnesota and Kansas is going to be another great matchup. And Kansas last, what, 6 games have gone both teams to score in over 2.5. And I'm not gonna even complicate things here. As long as we are hitting that, I'm gonna take it again. I'm taking both teams to score in over 2.5, minus 114. Minnesota, a very solid team in the attacking end, a bit sloppy defensively, and that's gonna be a great opportunity for Kansas to score at least a goal, maybe even a couple here in this game. So Minnesota versus Kansas, both teams to score and over 2.5 goals at minus 114. Nashville is hosting San Jose in the next matchup in the MLS, and San Jose is now on a four-game losing streak. And when playing on the road, they haven't won any of their last 11 games. As a matter of fact, they have 0 wins, 0 draws, and 5 losses so far this season. And even though Nashville hasn't won any of their last 4 games, they are much better at home than San Jose is on the road. So I'm gonna take Nashville on the money line at plus 100. And the last game of the day in the MLS, guys, is that West Coast derby between LAFC and Portland. Both teams are now on a draw game streak. Portland has 3 draws in a row, LAFC has 2 draws in a row. However, in all of those games, we have seen a lot of goals. LAFC has gone over 2.5 in each of their last 5 games. Same goes for Portland. Neither team kept a lot of clean sheets. LAFC kept one of their last 5 games, and that was against Nashville, while Portland hasn't kept a clean sheet in a long time. It's been going back to early January against Phoenix Rising. That was a MLS friendly game or something like that. I have no idea. And they won that game 1-0. And since then, they have conceded a goal in each of their games. So both teams to score in over 2.5 at minus 102. I think that's the way to go. It's quite simple. Both teams are scoring a lot, both teams are conceding a lot. So why not take advantage of this minus 102 price and get another nice winner in our pocket? That's it, guys. Thank you for joining me here. These were free picks for the MLS. There's a lot of them, 14 free picks. So put some bets in, guys. Have a great evening. Have a great Saturday overall. Good luck with all of your bets. And of course, stay tuned for more free picks coming up soon.